it's fine to have problems with the series. Heck, Bleach is my favorite series, and I have my own issues with the series as a whole. Like, there are problems with Bleach, as there are problems with every manga series out there. That being said, for me, Bleach will always be number one. And I still believe that writing-wise, it's better than One Piece. I'll fight that to my grave.
That's a bold
I
claim.
know.
What briefly? Why would you think that?
I just think when I look at all the categories that make up a manga or anime series, I give it to Bleach over One Piece. Fights, I give it to Bleach. Power system, I prefer Bleach's. Hockey it's okay. I'm not the biggest fan of hockey. Devil Fruits were really interesting. I loved how the battles were with Devil Fruits, but I think ever since hockey's kind of been put into the battle, I think One Piece fights have gone downhill. And I'm in the middle of Punk Hazard right now. Keep that in mind. So I'm not in Wano yet. I'm still reading it. Characters. I think Bleach is a landslide victory against One Piece character-wise. I think the main cast is better. Like the Straw Hat Pirates, I think is better than, say, what you can call the equivalent in Bleach, which I guess you could say is Ichigo, Ohime, Renji, Rukia, and Chad. I almost forgot Chad's name. There's an example. But I think protagonist wise, again, I'd give it to Bleach. Antagonist wise, I think it's Bleach a landslide. One of One Piece's biggest weaknesses for me is the antagonistic groups. I think that's one of its weakest areas. World building, I'd actually give it to One Piece. I'd be a fool to say it's Bleach. But yeah, I genuinely believe that. I think the Bleach anime is a misrepresentation of the Bleach manga. That's another opinion I hold. Same as I believe from One Piece, less so for Naruto. I think Naruto's anime does a great job representing what I've seen of the manga for Naruto. I think Bleach's writing is underrated, personally. I love Bleach's writing. I think it has its problems, but so does One Piece, so does Naruto. And dare I say, I think the foreshadowing Kubo does in Bleach is on par with Oda's foreshadowing.
I think people give Oda way too much credit.
Yeah.
I look. I love Oda. I love One Piece. One Piece will be one of the greatest fantasy series written of all
Oh, I
time.
agree. I agree.
Like amongst everything, even past anime and manga, I think you can put it in the same category as I've said this with other guests on my channel, the Lord of the Rings, Lion the Witch and the Wardrobe. Like when you consider like impactful
Yeah.
long running series, One Piece is right there. It's right there right now. But no, I am telling people for a fact, Oda, there are times he writes things just for the sole purpose of saying, I'm going to come back to this in 3 years. And it's like, I can understand doing that a few times, but
Mm-hmm.
literally anything or any character introduced in One Piece, you're not going to see, or they're not going to have a major impact for such a long period of time. Like, Robin has contributed just enough to justify having her on screen, but she hasn't done anything significant yet. You have Chopper, who it seemed like him and Nami and Usopp were going in a great direction with their character
Yeah.
development, and then you basically just stunted them. It seems like the time jump for One Piece was just a reason to reskin everybody and put them in a new world and justify all the power, the jumps that the characters got. I love what Oda is doing, and there's a lot about One Piece that I love. It would take me an hour to talk about all of the things that One Piece does right, but then I could probably do another
Yeah.
2 hours of what One Piece does wrong, and people think that just because it's flanked by so many cool things happening, that it makes it for a
Mm-hmm.
greater series than other things. Like Bleach does a lot, like you said, their fight system is so much better. The
Yeah.
fights in Bleach just stand out, and I remember them so much more than inconsequential fights in One Piece. But I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Fans just can't seem to see the truth.
I think that's the true of every series. I think that's true of every fandom, that people do overestimate what, like, I've met people who say that Kubo's never made a mistake in his writing, and that's just wrong. I mean, I think Chad, how underutilized Chad is an issue in the Bleach writing. I mean, he shows up, gives Ichigo motivation, and then what does he do? He off-screens statues. Like, this is supposed to be a main character that's just off-screening statues. Like, his only moment in the entire series is off-screen. And I think that's something that Kubo does do. I think Kubo's writing is some of the best in when it comes to the manga world. But I do have to say that people do also overestimate, as they do with any mangaka. Now, when it comes to One Piece, I love One Piece. That being said, right now, I feel like I'm giving it a lot of, like, if you go on my Twitter and you see some of my tweets, I've been giving it a lot of crap recently. But that's just because all I've read so far in post time skip has been trash. Return to Sabaody is my least favorite arc in the entire series. Fishman Island was okay at best, and so far Punk Hazard has been uninteresting and bad for me.
I fully agree. I think every single arc that's come out since the time jump has been like this. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel bad because there are fans of One Piece who really do love it a lot. I think, and this could just be a theory, a hypothesis, if you will. I think if you got into One Piece within the last few years, because you marathoned everything, it's easier to take it in, and you probably think it's still at a very high level. If you've been growing with One Piece, like you've known about One Piece for quite some time, I've known about One Piece for a while. We've seen how the story used to be, and we see what the story is today, and we've had time to sit with it. It's not like we read through 100 chapters in a day like some people do. We actually took our time to watch or read this series, and even though we may have marathoned a part of it, we still were
Mm-hmm.
going through that weekly drip. So I don't know. I love One Piece, but I just feel like people need to sometimes step back away from their fandom and look at some of the
Mm-hmm.
glaring issues that it has.
Yeah, I mean, again, One Piece is great, a great series. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made a video saying that you need to read One Piece. And I feel like when One Piece ends, it's going to be one of the craziest events in all of manga and anime history. Don't get me wrong there. But I feel like so far it's just been downhill for me. And Marineford was such a great arc. And then post-war arc was phenomenal. And then we
Peak One
got,
Piece. Peak One
yeah,
Piece.
peak One Piece for me, and since then it's just been eh. Now I don't know. I hear some great stuff coming from some of the arcs after where I'm at. I hear this is kind of like the bottom of One Piece, and it starts to recover a little bit. With some people saying that Wano's the best arc in the series. I've heard that claim from 3 or 4 people. And then I've heard the
Okay.
opposite from other people saying it's one of the worst.
I hope those 3 or 4 people really love One Piece.